Right, look what came in the mail. Got that one from these two from SIP one because they have them. Plus I got something else. You got to get the $100 so you get the free shipping, right? So I got those things. We're going to continue on with this thing from where we left off, where you guys and I left off. So right now I'm out of gas. I'm gonna get some tomorrow. I think I'm gonna finish grinding this stuff. My battery's charged up by now, so I'll grind that stuff down, and then I'm gonna make these, I guess. Here, get those made up while I'm thinking. Now this part back here is in the sun, so I don't really want to work back here. It's kind of hot out right now. And I got this thing kind of set in here. Still have to fix that. I was just figuring I could probably just tweak the corner enough. I think, let you guys tell me. Tell me, does it go in? I had done it before. Kind of does. So I don't know. I got to figure out whether I want to weld that in first and try and tweak the corner in, or try and straighten it somehow. Maybe I'll straighten it. I don't know. Looks like it's hitting right here. I might knock that in, take it off and knock it in. Maybe that'll fix it. I'll come back into that in a little bit. We'll see what happened. I'll let you guys know in a little while. Right, guys, it's starting to get dark out, but I just wanted to film this real quick for you. Hopefully you can see this thing lines up on top. You can see the hole there, and then I just cut a slit in there and just knocked it down with a hammer. Dead blow right there. I think I need to do the same thing over here though. Look, if you see, it's kind of, and with the apron on there, you can see the apron's kind of going like that, right? I think this side looks right. I get the deck lid out here, and maybe I'll put the rack on. Just kind of look at it. Yeah, well, if I need to put the light rack on, I think I just need to put the deck lid up there and just see. I'm just seeing what I know I see. I think I just need to cut it there. I'll just cut it there and knock it down and then look at it, right? I know I need to do it, because if it goes down there, then this thing will also turn a little bit, and it will bring it a little bit closer up here. Bring that part down. It'll kind of want to do this because it's connected up here. So it'll just kind of make it go like over and down a little bit. Yeah, something like that. Start playing with it and I'll figure it out. I'll get it to look right for sure, but it's still very strange. Big gap, crooked gap. Here's how you do it. There, now you don't see it. Now you see it. Now you don't. Problem solved, right? I don't know. I'll figure it out. So I'll figure it all out. It'll come one at a time. Hey, and look what was in the bottom of the box for the floors. Cool. So I got 2 of these. And then there's this thing. So these come with the floors from Wilsburg West. I don't know if they do from Gerson or from Classic Fab or not, but they come with the floors from Wilsburg West. Pretty cool. And this is the, I guess the thing that was a piece that goes along the, I have them, they're still in pretty good shape. Amazing that they are. And it goes on there, so this goes on the floor too. So I'll put those in at some point. Probably not right now, but we got about an hour before that shade goes away and I'm in the sun. So let's look at what the problem is. Here's the problem. Okay, corner is set. And it's pretty darn right, except for this right here. We got what, 3/8 to ½ inch of gap, and probably either this piece was cut too long, or I told them to make it exactly, or it should be butted against the firewall and it's not quite. Something is a little off, which is okay. But so the thing is, you got to figure out on something like this is what's the easiest way out. You know, I've got it welded here, underneath here. I've got it welded here. I've got it welded here, and I've got it welded up there. So technically I should unweld everything and slide it forward, but I don't think it would even go far enough forward. So could I cut it right here? No. Trying to cut this right here to take this bar back out and then try and take the corner off, it's welded in. There's no way to do that. So like I said, this is the reason I'm showing you guys this, is because if you might be in a situation where you're in a pickle like this, and this is just continual through a build like this, you're going to constantly have issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right here, because it's nice and easy, right? Going to cut 2 straight lines here and then push this together and butt weld it. And this is 16 gauge versus 18 gauge. Original was 18 gauge, this is 16, so it'll be plenty strong, so I'm not worried about it. So anyway, we will move on with that. And I got an idea. I'm going to try, I have this little miniature chop saw. I'm going to try and just kind of, it's supposed to be for using on the ground, but I'm going to try and use it in here so I get a nice straight cut. Let's see how it works. If you ever were thinking about buying one of these, they are very cheaply made. You have to be very, very careful with these from Harbor Freight. They are very cheap. They're not cheap to buy, but they're cheaply made. And you got to really treat them. If you don't let that RPM drop at all, if it drops a little tiny bit, you're going to smoke the motor on it. Let's hope I can get through this. But I like it because it's a size. You know, that's why I bought it. Cut right through it like a charm. Second cut, same as the first. Look at that. I'll just clamp it up and weld it up, and we'll take a look at it. All right, now there's no gap here. Because remember, once this gets all done, everything's together, that is the finish. That is the sheet metal, but this doesn't have sheet metal on it. But they're made, that's the way they were made. They're very crudely made. So that's your finish. I'm going to paint that. And then this will have same sealer in there real tightly. And then this will be just sheet metal. I may end up changing some of this. You know, the problem is it's lower here than it is over here. I'd love to just take a piece of sheet metal and just wrap it all the way around and do the whole top, but can't really, because it's too low over here and then to be into that. So that's why I didn't do it. But I'm probably going to add, at least cut this out maybe, and just put sheet metal right here so that I can have a lip. I'll cut that up a little higher and then bend it like that. I wasn't sure how that looked. I didn't even know. I've never taken one of these apart, so it's all just a learning curve for me. So no big deal. Now, the other issue I had with this quarter, it looks like it might have fixed itself. When I pushed that in, I think it pushed the bottom in. Look at that. There's like no gap there now. Interesting. Still makes me wonder about that one and why that the other panel lines up to it. We'll figure that one out soon. But the other issue I was having too, so you guys can see what the issues are, was this wasn't fitting. Yeah. Really doesn't look square, does it? Doesn't look square here, unless it's out like that. Doesn't look square. That does not look right. Anyway, it does from your point of view. I don't know. I've got to play around with that, make sure that that fits correctly. Just looks weird back here. Actually, I think it's not that. Maybe it's not that. It's this that I'm looking at. Maybe this thing is bent like that. I don't know. I got to figure that out. It's all, you know, and it's because I've done patches here. And these corners are all just, these are junk corners I got for 50 bucks a piece. And I patched them together to make two to make one on this side. The grill was missing on this one. And I used the grill from, of course you can tell what I used it from. But I used the grill from that. And then even actually sliced it and pieced part of it together right here. You can see where I welded and cleaned it really good. I actually put a piece in it because it was rotten. So yeah, these are expensive because I'd have to buy the corner, this piece, the inner piece. It's like 1,500 bucks or something like that for both sides for everything. So, you know, that's a lot of money to, if I can save a $50 corner and fix it. You know, when you're adding up all the metal that I'm putting on this thing, it's like, you guys, it's like tens of thousands of dollars in metal. If I went and just bought all this stuff, it'd be more than $10,000. I've never spent $10,000 ever on a restoration project for metal, ever. So that's crazy. All right, just thought I'd show you guys this. I mean, this is the kind of thing you're doing the whole time when you do something like this. Yep, it's square. That's 100% square there. So this is right. Now, what's wrong here, I think, is this thing needs to be twisted. Okay? And if I twist that, it might correct the things that I'm looking at. Because I see that this thing is, yeah, something's just not right. Anyway, I'll try twisting it. Let me see if I can get a big pair of pliers on that thing. I don't know, I'll find something to grab on that with. All right, let's try this with these Mondos. I think these are Harbor Freight, so who knows if they're gonna. How about that? Now it looks right. Yeah. Looks way better, except for the thing that I just damaged. But get rid of the gap pretty much. Yeah, might be right now. I don't know. Start putting some more parts in again. All right, so let's take a look here. Kind of got it. Yeah, it's close. I think if I put this in and then I kind of clamp that over, like weld it to the frame first and then kind of clamp that over, I can probably get that to work. I don't know exactly what's wrong. Can't see. I'll have to play around this a little bit more. It could be that that whole fender well is just a little bit tweaked a little bit. I think that's what it is. But it looks like this is lined up. Let's take a look and we'll put on the apron. Well, kind of put on the apron. Look at that. That corner's not in place. All right, so let's take a look here. The opening is correct for the deck lid. You know, I got some issues with some stuff here. but I don't know. It's all this stuff I got to just sit here and look at. Now I got to get that corner set, so I think if I set it the same way I did this one, it'll probably be all right. I got this set in place, and you can see that that lines up, the hole lines up when it's set right there. You know, the hole here. And this is all the way in. And it's set there. But it hits there because, of course, you know, the stuff's not manufactured right. So you can need to go back just a little bit. This needs to go forward just a little bit more. See, I got a layer of metal there. I may need to take that off. It's so tight in here. Put it all the way up. Let's see. Yeah, it's actually okay. A little bit of bump of metal there that hits. Hopefully this is just a little bit too long. I know, you pay all that money for metal, it should fit, right? So, and then I've got a layer of metal right there. You can see that right here, and that's pushing this out a little bit. So that might be an issue. Sometimes you got to clean everything off. Sometimes you can get away with it still staying there. It all depends on what you're putting in. So I just wanted to kind of make sure I'm in the ballpark on this side. Then I'm going to work on that side. And then I'll come back to this side and start, you know, make sure everything's right when I get that side done, and make sure the whole opening and everything hasn't changed and it's right. Then I'll weld in a few parts over there, of course, like I did here. And then I will start welding the frame in once I know it's right on both sides, and then I'll start putting the parts back in. And I think just these things, I just need to massage all these little ends and pieces and stuff like that to get them to be a little bit tighter in this top end, and then fake it into the back or whatever so that it looks straight. It's just all going to take time. This is like doing like a jigsaw puzzle, you know, when you're a kid and you force the piece in to fit. Mom, it fits. And you stick the puzzle piece in, and she's like, no, those are the wrong colors. And you're like, no, it fits. You're pushing it in the, you know, have you ever been there? I think we all have. You know. We used to do puzzles a lot when we were kids because my mom was from back east, and that's what everybody does back there, you know, when it's snowstorms and all that back then. Nowadays, you know, they probably play video games, or who knows, maybe the power goes out and you go back to puzzles, right? Anyway, I'll get this other side in, we'll take a look at it. Right, so guys, believe it or not, it actually, you know, it's got this parabolic look right now because of the, yeah, but you can look at it and it almost looks like that's leaning, but when I put a carpenter square on it, it tells a different story. And it's because you're looking at this right here, the top of that's higher than this one, so it kind of makes sure a little illusion going on. I was looking at the same thing. I know you guys are seeing it. So when I've checked this thing with a carpenter square, it's square, the deck lid fits, it shuts, the roundness is right here. It seems to shut pretty good. So I've got to mark my hinges still, and a couple of things with that are kind of weird on these things because remember this is higher here than over here, so the hinges want to be really far out. So that's kind of weird, but that's just maybe just the way the single cabs are. I don't know. So anyway, that's actually square and straight, believe it or not. And I welded in this tube, square tube here, and then I welded in a little bit of that. I need to tuck the other piece underneath and weld it in place. It looks like it's in the right place too. Let me look at that. Yeah, and that thing seems to fit right here. Look at that. That looks good. That line's right on. Butts against that piece. It was, you can see right where I cut it. Just butts against her tight once you pull it back. The hole lines up. You know, once I got it welded in, it should be fine. So the frame should be in the right place now. I guess I can figure out how to patch that up, right? Trying to figure out something here. And I'll, you know, put some gussets in there and stuff to make it real strong. And just keep it where it is. I don't know why, but that's where it's going. All right, let's take a look where I'm at here now. I got all these things pretty much welded up. I got one more to do. And this takes a lot of time. All this stuff here. Doing all these places. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, and then each one of those has like, I don't know, 10 spot welds inside there. And you gotta, I make moundy welds or whatever. I want to make sure that they're really well penetrated in there, even if they're ugly, to make sure those nut certs don't slide around and fall out. Because after I put this frame in there, there's no going back. It'll have to cut a hole in the sheet metal and everything to fix it. So I got to make sure they're right, and I did. They don't look pretty, but they're fine. Then I took these little ones here and not butted them together, but I left a little bit of a gap. I've got to finish cleaning that up. These are for this. If you see here, the hinge fits on the hinge. Yeah, that's a little better. And then I made all of them. I'm going to make 2 more of these still. And then I'll put these in floating nut certs in those areas as well. That jack point's in. I put those gusset things in there. Yeah, these things here. Yeah, we've had 2 weeks or more than 2 weeks of triple digit heat. So I can only work out here for just a little while. As soon as the sun comes around out of those trees, as soon as that sun comes past that tree, forget it. I'm done. But just got to weld those up there. Everything's positioned right, so I'm just gonna weld up the crack, and then I'll put a piece of plate over it and weld that in. It'll be plenty strong. Yeah, I'll have almost 2 days of work in just this. I got to flip it on its edge and weld some of these inside ones. They're just too hard to do upside down. So I'll flip it over and do them. And then I got to cut out these here for the hinges. I'll do that when it's hotter in the day. Come back to that in a little bit. So these tires, of course, they're trailer tires because I wanted the extra thick sidewall, and that's still better than the original bias ply. May not be exactly street legal, but they'll work. I tried to air them up and had a lot of trouble. I was going to take them down. I thought, well, I could just take them down and have them aired up at a tire place. And I thought, that's going to take me an hour. I'm going to drive over there, drive back. So that's 15-20 minutes that way, 15-20 minutes waiting. So I just ordered a bazooka. If you know what that is, it'd be nice to have anyway whenever I got trying to air something up. It's a little quicker. Even my wheelbarrow tire, you could use it for that. And so I thought I'll just grab one of those. They're like $60 on eBay. Got my butt welding done on these 2 ends, frame pieces. Still going to make a piece to put inside, but I could actually put this top piece on now, and I've got this done except for this little bit here. I got to finish that up. Can get it ready to put on. And voila, got it on there the right way. So what I had to do is this part here was sticking way out, so I just take a hammer and chisel and knock that way down. Then that takes care of that, and then I'll just bring this part over once I weld this in. So that'll work. And if you're CT, if you're watching, you drill holes along where your frame goes, and you need to weld this to the frame. This becomes part of the structure of the car. This is like the support for all this. So on one of these pickups, it's very much got to be welded in good and everything, welding that floor. I don't know how many spot welds are on there, but I think 5 will probably do it. Then I got this ready. On this one, I went ahead and drilled it from the outside because these were rust holes. So I thought I'd open them up a little bit and bring them to where they're metal solid, and then I'll use that to weld this homemade battery tray in. Because I had a pattern, and it only took me about 10 minutes to make this thing, honestly. All right, so I got that frame put in. You can see this thing lines up pretty good now. The frame is welded up here, the seam here. I still need to make a little piece for the very bottom of it. And just put some spot welds in here and kind of got this thing in place. I use the 220 welder, so it's not so nice. But then I need to pinch this real tight and then do that. I'll just kind of was fitting this in. So this is ready, but I won't weld it until I finish that. So anyway, it's a little too hot out here. We'll move back inside. Let's take a look at what we've done here. When that rack's on there, as soon as I get the tires mounted and I have the rack, I'll get this thing back inside, and then it'll probably go together pretty quickly from there. I got my sheet metal for this piece. I'll be cutting that coming up here, and then yeah, we'll be ready to start finishing the final assembly, I guess. I mean, well, it's not really final, but you know, all the putting the rack in there and all that. What I really want to get, like I said, I want to get some of this I won't be able to fill yet because I gotta weld, say right here on the other side of there for this. So I can't really do that yet. Maybe I could finish welding that in, I don't know. But I kind of need the door at least to check it. I can move it from right here. You can move it all around right now. So, but you know, still this line's going to line up. Should be okay if I just welded the back part, I suppose. Just the front, I have to kind of jock it around a little bit and work on that. So yeah, this thing's ready, and then I'll rip off that piece of quarter there. Yeah, I'd show you something else I found out. That I was trying to figure out why this line was lapping over the other, and then I realized, oh yeah, I grafted this piece. I had this corner without a vent, and what I did is I probably put it on like a, I don't know, less than 1/8 of an inch forward. So I'll just fake it in from there. That's all right, because I don't need this to be exactly, I don't need to cut that off and then reposition it back. It's not going to really make any difference if this is 1/8 of an inch forward, because I'm not using an original quarter panel here. I'm going to make my own, so if it's not exactly perfect. And notice these holes didn't quite line up. That was what my first clue was, and then I realized, oh, this whole section is moved forward too much. So that's why it was having trouble trying to get this to be right. Because with the rack on here, there's no you know, gap here or anything. It's in the right place. So all this part of the corner is in the right place, and it lines up with this. It lines up with the frame. I still need to make my little repair piece for there. Again, it's too hot for that now, so I gotta go inside and continue to work in there. So yeah, it's coming along really good. We'll be looking at the next video here and seeing the rack on it. I'm just gonna go ahead and probably finish that off camera and get that all done. It's gonna take me a while. It literally takes like hours and hours to work on that, so it's kind of a bummer. But to do that, this stuff here doesn't take that long, and it seems like I get a lot done. But when I'm working on that rack, it's, you know, kind of a long process of getting very little done. So anyway, let's take some other views here. How about that? Yeah, it's all together. It's just got some primer on it. It'll sure look different, won't it? All like one color. It'll look like it's not so much like a hodgepodge. And put the rack on there, that'll look really good. Makes it look all done. Then you realize how straight it is. So it's really not that bad once I get all that done and corner welded in and all that, the rest of the battery tray and all that stuff in there. We'd be looking pretty good. Talk to you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.